Let's rank some of the black metal albums of 2024. This is not an extensive list, it is not every single black metal album that I've heard, let alone every single black metal album that's been out this year. It's just a selection of albums that popped into my mind. When I thought black metal 2024, these are the albums that popped out, so I made this tier list, and we're going to rank them from S tier all the way to D tier. I don't think any of these are terrible, I don't think there's a single terrible black metal album from 2024, but there's some ones which I don't like as much as others, and today we're going to rank them. So, starting from left to right, let's just kick into it with Necrophobics in the Twilight Grey. I had this in one of my albums of the month. I think it's a fun album in the Black and Death kind of style. I do love Necrophobic quite a bit, and I had an enjoyable time with this album. It wasn't anything special though, so it's either C or B for me. I'm leaning towards B, because C is kind of like average, meh, you know what I mean? So it wasn't meh, I had a good time, fun time with it, just didn't stand out like some of the other albums. Great album cover though, and yeah, fun album. Next up is Saidan. This was great. This is one of the best of the year, but I'm still only going to put it in A, because black metal's one of my favourite genres, and I love some of these albums to pieces, but this one has definitely a flair. And I know when I talked about them last time, I said they were Japanese. That's because of the aesthetic. You know, that's why. Questy's a doofus. From Texas, I'm pretty sure. I probably got that wrong as well, but they're definitely not from Japan. But I love the art. That kind of like Alcest Kodama kind of style. The music is so fun. Really aggressive, but also kind of catchy as well. It's such a unique album, and I think if you're put off by the kind of cutesy art style, go give it a listen, because it actually rips. Actually rips. Next up is 1349. I really like this band. The drumming is insane, like usual, but I do think it's a C tier album. I reacted to some of the singles that came out, and I liked some of the singles, but again, nothing special. It was just kind of run-of-the-mill black metal for me. Nothing really jumped out. The music videos were kind of cool, but the album as a whole, it was just shut up Java update. It was just kind of compared to some other fantastic releases. This one was just okay. It's not bad. That's when it's in C. It was just okay. Forgotten Tomb with Night Floating. You're going to go with S tier, my boy. I love this album. This is such an underrated gem. Forgotten Tomb, I love them. So many good... Springtime Depression, what a fantastic album. And this one, the riffs are so damn infectious and catchy on this album. It's ridiculous. If you've not listened to Forgotten Tomb's new album, give it a whirl. It's in the DSBM kind of category, but... it's nothing like Silencer, it's nothing like a lot of these other bands. This album, especially, is so damn catchy and infectious. Every single song has a hook. And I dare even call it DSBM for this album. I'd call it melodic black metal, to be honest. I love it. Every song was just entertaining. On the flip side, Rotting Christ is the first D tier. I love Rotting Christ, the first couple of albums. Even the middle albums, you know? The more furious kind of death metal stuff. And of course, I love Non Servium. Thy Mighty Contract, got the shirt, it's one of my favourite. Triarchy of Lost Lovers, they're all fantastic, but the last couple of albums have been kind of hit and miss, and this one is my least favourite. It is my least favourite of all the newer stuff. It's just the chanting all the way through. And there's another band that does this style just much better in this same year, which we'll get to. But it was the most boring experience I've had out of any of these albums. It was the most boring album of the whole year in black metal, and that means D tier. It wasn't terrible, but it was just, every song was just some chanting in it, every single time. And it wasn't entertaining with the chanting, like Niall's album, where it had some chanting in, but it was mixed with the most furious drumming and intense music you've ever heard. No, this is just dull chanting, just boring the whole way through. D tier. You'll see it on my worst of the year, probably. Borknagar with 4. Progressive kind of black. Really interesting early on in the year. I'll probably put it here, top of B. I really found it quite refreshing. It's in a similar kind of vein as like Enslaved. If you like bands like that, you'll like Borknagar. True North is a great one as well. And the self-titled's fantastic. Just a really cool band, but I just gotta be honest, I can't really remember it as much. I remember really liking it when it came out. I just haven't played it as much as a lot of these other albums. Like, I played Necrophobic way more, and Saidan and Forgotten Tomb. So I need to go give it another re-listen, but on the first couple of listens, I did listen to it. Wow, that's a lot of listens. It was really good, so B tier. Hulder versus an Oath. Hulder versus an Oath. That was a good album. I reacted to the whole album, I'm pretty sure, and it was a really fun time. I'm probably going to put it in B. Again, there's going to be a lot of B tier albums, it looks like. I had fun with it. It was an entertaining listen. Do I remember any of it? Absolutely not. But I think, maybe put it in C then, top of C. Because C isn't bad, it's just average. And I can't remember a single thing from it, even though I reacted to the whole thing on the channel, listened to it multiple times after that, and I'm just kind of like, I don't remember. I don't remember it. I remember it being cool, unique, but just, sorry, C tier. Now, what I do remember is Aranzi Pazuzu, and that's in D tier. Sorry. Loads of people say this is one of the best of the year. I listened to it, and I was like, what the fuck am I listening to? A bunch of beeps and boops and just nothingness. It's like a nothing album. Nothing happens in this album. And this is someone who loves funeral doom. It's my favourite genre. But this was just, it's like a mixture of trap metal and whatever the fuck experimental avant-garde shit. I don't know. I love Aranzi Pazuzu's early stuff. I've seen them live. The one with the spaceman on, fantastic. But even the last one, Mistarin Kaizen, is that what it's called? With the hands, the green hands? I wasn't big into that. And this is a worse version of that, because it's less metal and just more ambient stuff, and I don't really give a shit. So, one of my most disappointed of the whole year. On the flip side, Dodsrit, fantastic album. Now, this is more like it. Just really long songs, cool atmosphere, beautiful artwork. What more could you want? This is just a fantastic album. I'm tempted to put it up to S, but I'll put it in A, alongside some good company. It's just a really cool journey. Love it to pieces. Again, Horn, fantastic, probably top of A. Like, Horn is so good. The kind of folky, pagan-esque melodies throughout. Really interesting screaming as well. Horn don't really miss. They're one of the most consistent bands in black metal, and I love this album. Loved it when it came out, talked about it, still love it now. A tier. Beenkerver. I really enjoyed Beenkerver. I can't put it in A tier. I don't think it's quite as special as these three, but I really enjoyed it, and probably top of B. B for Beans. It's one of the first black metal albums I heard of the whole year, and it's left a lasting impression on me. Still love the melodies throughout this album, and it's a band I'd never actually heard of before until this album, and then it got me to check them out. So I absolutely love Beenkerver. I don't know what the title is. It's de woo? Something weird like that. I don't speak the language, so fuck it. Labyrinthia Stellarum. A tier. Top of A. Oof, this is good. Some cosmic black metal, creepy alien sounds. And this is more like it. This is kind of, has that ambient kind of flair that Aranzi wishes it has, but with actual black metal. Cool cosmic vibe. Alien-like atmosphere. It's like Darkspace, dialed up to 11. Yeah, no, this is fantastic. One of the best of the year. But, next up we have Paysage Deiva with dhiver, and I said that last time and someone corrected me and said, it's actually spelled like this. But I didn't really pay attention to any of those comments, so I'm still going to call it dhiver. Sorry, but that's just the way an ignorant Englishman does it. This is one of my favourite albums of the whole year. 2 hours long. Just the atmosphere, the cold atmosphere on this album is palpable. I adore it. It feels like you're in the mountains. I've listened to it probably the most out of all these albums already. That's how much I love it. So, yeah. Paysage Deiva. It's going in S tier. Departure Chandelier. Really cool album. I'm not sure if it's an album or like a demo album, but well. I listened to it and I loved it. Cool, unique band. Nice little I don't say classical elements, but you know what I mean? The kind of vibe going on with it. I wouldn't say it's the best one they've done, but all the ones they've done are really fantastic. So, B tier for Based. Aquilus with Bellum 2, S tier. Love Aquilus, love every single album they've done. This is no exception. This is a grower. When I first heard this album, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. But on repeated and repeated and repeated listens, I've listened to this so many times, you kind of get used to all the little nuances in the songs and the classical parts. This actually has classical in. The classical parts and all the melodies and the moving pictures of the whole thing. I love it. I love this album to pieces. I think Bellum 1's better, but I still think this is an S tier album. I adore this kind of music. If you like Opeth, this is an album for you, or Enslaved. On the flip side, Eso Trillian's new one is terrible. The vocals in it, he's trying to sing. Don't try and sing. I like Eso Trillian for the weird alien-like screams, and then the singing comes in and it's just terrible. Don't give up your day job. I'm sorry, this album's shit. Terrible. D tier. Horna is next with Nyx. Horna is fantastic. A tier. Top of A. Yeah. Just really fun, catchy, finish black metal. And the last song was a surprise. The last song, I think it's the last song, is quite doomy. And it's quite a long one. And it's quite different for anything else Horna's ever done. So look out for the last song of the album. But everything else just... Horna never misses as well. Really consistent band. And I love this artwork. And I love the album. My throat's starting to die. Akhyls with the House of the Black Geminis. S tier. If you talk about Nightmare Fuel, this is bloody Nightmare Fuel. Holy shit. I've listened to it a lot, but I listened to it at night driving, 3 a.m. or whatever. It's just terrifying. It's the most terrifying music you could possibly listen to, and I'm all for that. The music video as well, just disgusting. Amazing. Black Curse's new album. Really good, really intense, but I'm probably going to put it in B. Am I? I'm looking at the other stuff here. Yeah, I'll put it in B. I enjoyed it, but a lot of the songs are really long, and it's so intense, I don't feel like it needs to be that long. For atmospheric stuff, Aquilus, Paysage, yeah. But for intense stuff, not really. But aside from that, the album's actually fantastic. So B tier, it's only in B and not A because I haven't listened to it as much because it's a more recent album. Yoth, Iria. Speaking of recent albums, this is just phenomenal. This is phenomenal. It's S tier. This is what Rotten Christ albums should have been. Like, the melodies on here harken back to those golden era of the Hellenic black metal scene. Like, it's one of the best bands around. They're putting all the other bands to shame with the melodies on this album. It's just perfection. Chef's kiss. Darkthrone is gonna go to D. D for Darkthrone. Am I? Or do I put it in C? I'll put... This is a hard one. I'll put it in D. I don't hate it as much as the other three, but it just has this Celtic Frost vibe about the whole thing, and I'm not big into them, as people know. I still like, Morbid Tales, one of the best black and thrash albums like that. But everything else, it's fine. And this has that similar kind of vibe, with the weird kind of singing, the whole slow nature of everything. I don't know, I just like the early Darkthrone. I'm sorry. And Panzerfaust, I love Panzerfaust. But yeah, just not digging the new Darkthrone, not really. Arctic Thunder was the last one I really loved. But Kanonenfieber, really good. Really intense, catchy, furious black metal that just pumps you up. In that kind of Marduk, dark funeral kind of way. Love it. Simple as. And the live show is really cool. Go look them up on YouTube with the whole outfits and stuff. Put on a hell of a show. Oh, Darkspace -2. C tier. This pains me. I love Darkspace. The first 4 albums are some of my favourite of all time. I absolutely love it. It's the same member, Rost, as in, is it Rost? I probably got that wrong. Oh well. It's one of the same members as in Paysage. But this album's more of an ambient affair the whole way through. It has little snippets of black metal. Very small snippets, but the rest of it is pretty ambient, and I can enjoy it. That's why it's on C. But it's just not as good as the last four, or even the -1. It's not as good as that either. So this one pains me. C tier, sorry. Alcest, with the album I've forgotten the name of, even though I've bought it. B tier for me. I do like Alcest quite a lot. It's a guilty pleasure, some people say. Oh, fuck you, I love it. This is a lot more upbeat, uplifting Alcest album, and it came at a time in my life where I loved it, new child, and then this album comes out, and it was just, because it came out around the same time, and it was an uplifting album, so I can't not put it high, even though I don't think it's quite as good as the last couple of Alcest albums. I still, for the emotional resonance, I could put it in S, but I'm going to put it in B to be objective, and the songs are great, but they're just not as good as the last couple of albums they've done. But I'll put it in B. I'll be nice. Inquisition, veneration of medieval mysticism and cosmological violence. A or B? A. Yeah, A. You can sit next to Horna, your little buddy. I love Inquisition, and this album was more of a furious type of Inquisition, harkening back to the early days, the first couple of albums, fast, punchy, to the point. Yeah, I loved it. Change of pace. Really enjoyed it. I do prefer Black Mass from Mass Grave for that more kind of cosmic, feels longer, you know what I mean, more atmospheric, but this more faster paced stuff is what they started as, and yeah, catchy as hell. Love it. Mutilation, black metal cult. See, I like this album, but I don't love it. I thought it was great. It didn't hook me. It's going to go in B. I still think it's a fantastic album. Mutilation doesn't really have any bad albums. Kind of like Borknagar and Necrophobic, it was just kind of, it was good. It wasn't like blowing me away like any of these. Like Saidan, where I was like, holy shit, what is this? Or Horn's one, where I like the music style a little bit more. It was just pretty good. Order of Nosferat, The Absence of Grace. S tier. Now this is more like it. This kind of weird, almost dungeon synthy kind of music with the black metal. I love it to pieces. Got such a style and an atmosphere. It's in a league of its own. Doesn't sound like anything else on this entire list, which is what I love. Seth's new album was really good. Yeah, A tier. Seth's new album was fantastic. French black metal legends, and this one fairly long, but catchy as hell, and I appreciated it. Spectral Wound. I'll put you in top of B. It was catchy as hell. Some people didn't like it because it was too catchy, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How can an album be too catchy? Are you stupid? Every song was fun. It was in like a black and roll kind of style, and I really loved that. Don't think it's as good as the last album they did, but still phenomenal. And last, Hordem Rife. Where do I put Hordem Rife? This is hard. I feel like there's too much clogging up A and B, don't you? A or B. I'll put it in B for now, but it is furious. No, shit. You know, I actually think I like it more than Seth's one. I'm swapping them around. Yeah, Hordem Rife's one's better. I love the intensity. I love the viciousness of this music, but it keeps the catchiness within. Hordem Rife, again, don't miss. Only a couple of albums in a discography, but every single one is killer. This one's no exception. I love the artwork on every album as well. And there you go. That is my ranking of 2024 black metal albums. I've probably missed off loads. These are just the ones that instantly popped into my head. Could I move things around? Yeah, sure. I could move things down, move things up. Like some of these in B could easily be in A. But I feel like my S tier is pretty set. I love all these albums. Horna could join them. But we'll see. I need more listens. But yeah, hopefully you had some fun. Let me know your favourite black metal albums of the year down below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.